What's going on, everyone? Thanks for dropping in. Today we have a new knife to check out coming in from Kansept, and I'm excited about this one. I just pulled it out of the mailer. Huge shout out to Kansept for sending this in. And while we're tearing this thing open, if you're here because you enjoy knife and EDC content, you're in the right spot. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I release daily videos. And as always, let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. So, standard unpackaging from Kansept. They do a great job with that. Microfiber cloth and paperwork, all that goody stuff. We have a fold over pouch here. And inside, we shall have our knife. Now, this is going to be the new Kansept Thoth, I think is how it's pronounced. And this is awesome. Not only because it's a new concept, but we have a new Sparrows design as well. And I love Sparrows. Greg Schaub, he is responsible for the Fenrir and many other great designs. They recently just put out the Baba Yaga last month, I think it was. And that knife is phenomenal. This one really reminds me of the Fenrir with a lower tipped blade. You can just, what I mean is you can tell the design language is there for this knife. Now we are looking at 20 CV for the steel choice on this one. Typically S35 is what we see a lot from Kansept, but there are times we see 20 CV and some other steels. And in the case of this one, we are looking at 20 CV. They're going to have a bunch of different variations of this knife that you can choose from with different patterns on the handle, probably stone washed and coated along with the satin here. So plenty of different variations, and I'm sure they have at least one that, either has a Damascus blade, Damascus inlays, stuff like that, because Kansept they do some wild and crazy stuff, which is why I really love what Kansept is doing. They have a nice titanium backspacer here and then a milled clip. And then this has a beautiful finish on the titanium. I don't know if it's going to come across, but it looks like a battle-worn finish on the titanium. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's got like, I don't want to say gold, but it's got like a bronzed brush rough finish to it. I don't know. But it looks great, feels great. This knife has a certain heft to it. This one has weave carbon fiber there, or I think it's shredded carbon fiber. And then we have the titanium pivot collar. Really looks good. Yeah, this is a beautiful knife, and it's a good size. It's going to be close to that 8 inches. Nice sharpening choil. Yeah, this is a good size. I like that blade shape. We've seen a couple recently like this. The Ken Onion design Buckhorn has a similar blade shape where right at the very end, the tip kind of cants down. Not quite the same, but fairly similar. I love that up sweeping to the tip and then the tip canting down. That just gives you really nice precision with that tip. And then you have that entire clean edge to just make longer cuts with. And we are looking at, that is a recessed, well, what would that be? That'd be a faux exposed frame lock? How would that be? What would we classify this as? So the bolsters go over top of the frame lock. So it would be like a bolster lock, I guess. I guess it would be, I don't know what we would label that as. Let me know down in the comments what that should be called there. Now, as far as an actual length on this thing, we're looking at 3 1/4 cutting edge, 3 1/2 of total. And yeah, it is. It's coming down at 8, like right on the nose. I thought that it felt like a full-size knife. We'll put it up against the raccoon up top here and the drop bear down on the bottom. And you can see it's a much more substantial knife than both. And we'll put it up against the Kaiser Militaw and the Benchmade bug out, the full-size bug out. And it's right in line with the Militaw and a little bit bigger than the bug out. As far as the weight is concerned, it feels, I don't know if it's deceiving in that it feels heavier, but it definitely feels substantial. And I think we have that thicker backspacer, full titanium handle. We have a little bit cut out for the carbon fiber, but it feels really good, like it has a little weight to it. Let's say like 4.6. Oh, 4.4. Yeah, it had, I like that 4.5 to 5 ounce. That's when something, you start to feel like you have a decent and substantial cutting tool in your hand. Let's take a look at this thing in the pocket here, and we're looking at one Torx screw holding that milled clip on, but that is going to be recessed there into the titanium. So you will have no worry about that pocket clip shearing the titanium either which way. As long as that's recessed in there into the titanium, the single Torx is going to be fine. And what that does is clean it up a little bit. It carries a little deeper because of that. But I like this. It's almost perfect. You have just a little bit poking out. It looks really clean in the pocket. And then you have just a little bit poking out there, and that's enough to grab a hold of this thing and pull it out of the pocket as well as return it to the pocket. So I like that. It looks good and is going to operate well. We'll have to check this edge and see if that lock is going to hold up properly, which I suspect we're going to have good lockup in there. It is fairly early, around 30%, and we are looking at a perfectly centered up blade there. Very nice. And for the blade to handle ratio, folks, that's pretty good. I don't care about that really at all. It's pretty good. There's a little bit more room in there, but it's pretty good. Not something I would complain about anyway. As far as the action goes, the detent is money. The cutout feels good. It feels like it needs a drop of oil, which is normal. They're not putting a bunch of oil in here. They're going to let us do that. But yeah, this gets a drop of oil and some break-in. Whoo. Yeah, it's good. And you don't got to deal with the lock bar. You're going to have full access to that cutout on both sides. Right and left-handed will have a great time. Now, we're looking at right-hand carry only, but lefties will, if you can accept that, lefties will have a great time with this knife right here and not having to deal with that lock bar. So, very well executed from Greg Schaub and Kansept. It's tough to think back over the year. I'll have to really look at least at everything that I have checked out from Kansept, and they have had some excellent models come out this year. A couple stand out to me. This one is really starting to stand out to me. Sparrows is, he has my design language. He has some futuristic look to it, but still maintains all functionality. Even the Fenrir, which has that crazier upswept style blade, it's still ultra functional because it really doesn't sweep that high in regards to the pivot. It's just, he really has an awesome design language, and Kansept really complements him well with the designs. But a couple of Greg Schaub's designs from this year really stick out to me. And I think there's also another one possibly coming from him this year, I believe. Yeah, that's Kansept continues to get better every month, it seems. Uh, and that's a good thing because they have been doing really well the last couple of years. But over the last couple of months, it seems as though Kansept and another company or two, in my opinion, have really, really made it to the next level in a sense. The machining, the fit and the finish, just everything is very well executed. So you can just tell Kansept is putting in the work when it comes to the final product and it going into your hands. So yes, even such a beautiful knife will meet the spine whacker. This thing is awesome. I like the size. I can't even, typically I complain about the size because it's too small, but I'm not going to do that with this one. It's right at 8 inches. I wouldn't have minded if it was a little bit larger, but I won't complain. 8 inches is solid. So we got a nice full-size knife here with a great blade shape for a lot of different uses. I mean, this would be a great EDC pocket knife. This would be a good work utility folder. This would be a very versatile knife right here with the size and blade shape. And then you got the 20 CV backing it up and then a very comfortable handle as well. Let's go ahead and see what this thing is hitting for. There's no movement in there. We checked centering. There's no pivot lash. And there's no detent lash either. Very good. Let's see what we got. And I don't know. The Baba Yaga. We just checked that out a couple of weeks ago. And I went back and looked. I haven't had a single Kansept knife fail a lockup test. No matter what the lock is. Liner lock, frame lock. Since I started checking them, which has pretty much it's been a straight year of checking every knife that comes across the table that has a lock. Every knife. So, Kansept, really, kudos to them for great quality control. Whether they're checking every single one and making sure, or just nailing the tolerances, whether it's coded, uncoated, it hasn't mattered. They continue to be rock solid, and that's something I really appreciate. I also appreciate the fact that they're willing to step outside the box and do some unique designs. It's always funny, and I always say, you have people who complain that everything looks the same. But then it feels like those people will be the first ones to complain that the knife is different, right? And Kansept brings a lot of different stuff. This one is one of their more casual designs, I would say, and for Greg Schaub as well, Sparrows. This is a more casual design for Greg Schaub and Kansept. But that one and the Baba Yaga here, both coming out new for Kansept and Greg Schaub. Excellent set of knives right here. Really, really like this thing. If you're looking for a tank utility cutter, some people complained about the blade shape. I love it, but that's just me personally. I like both of these. I definitely will give the nod to this one just based on the size and feel in hand, but both very solid. That thing just moved up my Kansept list of the year, no question, as one of my favorites. I'm going to have to look into it. We're coming up to the end of the year. That one will definitely be in consideration for one of my favorites. You guys will have to let me know. What do you think of the new Kansept Thoth? And what's been your favorite Kansept you have handled from this year? New or old. Doesn't have to be a new one from 2024, but let me know what you think of Kansept. I love hearing from you guys. your thoughts and opinions on these newer knives and these companies. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way out. I appreciate it. It helps push these videos to more people. And if you're new to my channel, I release daily knife and EDC content just like this. Make sure you're subscribed and you ring that bell. That'll notify you anytime I release new content. I'll put a couple of new videos up on your screen right now. Go check out the one you haven't seen yet. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.